Hello, everybody, and it's awesome. This is wonderful. Tell us more about your cat, whoever you are. Guy on screen.
He's almost 1 year old, if that matters at all.
Amazing, incredible. Yeah, man. Hi, Raren. How you doing today?
I'm scared.
Scared. Yeah, you had a nice holiday. You're happy to be back here making a video, and you have no idea what this video is about.
I have no idea what this is about.
Okay, beautiful.
Nothing.
Well, let's start at the top. Do you know what makes card game players salty?
When your opponent plays any card.
Anything? Any card at all?
Yeah.
Actually, true. Yeah, that's very legit take. I like that. You're going to do great at this. Today, we are using a site called EDHREC to play a guessing game around what the saltiest cards in Magic are and how they rank. You are going to try to get in the head of a Magic player and decide what card in the Commander format makes them salty. So there's a site called EDHREC, and it takes information and data from Magic the Gathering decks, and it collects data from players once a year to create the SALT ranking. The SALT ranking is a rank for all the Magic cards across all of the decks that says how salty players feel a card is. We are going to be zooming in on the top 100 saltiest cards. So what I'm going to do is randomly get a number between 1 and 100, and that is the card that I'm going to pull up and give to you without telling you the number. You are going to try to guess that card's salt rank from 1 to 100, 1 being saltiest, 100 being the least saltiest. The difference between your guess and the actual rank adds to your score. The objective is to have a low score, not a high score. It's like golf. And the higher your score, well, the less well you guessed at salty rank. The lower, the better you are. And I'm doing this with a bunch of my friends. Simo has already done it. So
how did Simo do?
We'll reveal at the end whether you are better at figuring out MTG salt than Simo. I will say, Simo would be the first to admit, set the bar, really set the bar. Just set the bar.
I gotta get locked in, bud.
Yeah, you gotta get locked absolutely in. So let's just start with 1 because it gets easier the more you do it. So I'm gonna pull a number. There's my number. You don't get to know the number. It's mine. It's a secret.
Okay.
Then I find the card that it corresponds to.
Okay.
And then I pull up that card and send it to you for evaluation, and you try to guess the number.
Okay, so this isn't based on anything of how good the card is. It's just...
Is it? Is it based on how good the card is? Is that what makes a card salty?
No. Well, if Hearth sends any indication of it, right? Most of the time, the cards that are the most frustrating are often not the ones that are most played.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a specific reason to be salty. Which I've kind of identified from Hearthstone, at least, what makes people the saltiest. Simo has the biggest advantage, though, because he plays Yu-Gi-Oh, so that's not fair.
It is a salty game.
I feel like I'm cheating already, but
no. So you think that Simo has an advantage?
Yeah, he's a Yu-Gi-Oh player.
Okay.
He hates his life. He's a general. So like, what do you mean?
Okay. I'm getting all this on the record because at the end we'll tell you how you did.
Simo looks like the happiest Yu-Gi-Oh player I've ever seen. So he's got that going for him.
It is weird how well adjusted he is.
I think he's past the point. He's so desensitized from all of it. I think that's his thing, right?
Everything's
he's
happy.
Let go.
It's the only feeling left is like happy, senseless bliss. I guess. Yeah. Perfect.
He remembers when Pot of Greed wasn't banned, and then he moves on with his life. It's a good time.
Free draw 2 would make me happy, like at all times. But the opponent getting it would make me rage quit. So
yes.
All right.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Now I know too many Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Anyway, that's a whole rabbit hole. Let's salty Magic cards. Are you ready? Number 1.
Actually, this makes sense why Simo tweeted something like trying to get the top 100 Yu-Gi-Oh cards for saltiness.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, he's interested in doing something like this, but they don't have a site like EDHREC that compiles all this data.
Yeah, he was telling me about it. And I was like, that's why he was saying like I could do the same format. And I was like, oh, now I'm curious to see this is possible for Hearthstone. We'll figure this out. All right. Time Sieve
Mm-hmm.
Sieve. Okay, yeah. 1 blue, 1 black. Tap, sacrifice 5 artifacts, take an extra turn if those one. Okay. If Hearthstone's any indication of this, taking an extra turn is one of the best things you can do in the game. Time Warp is a card that you guys have, and people hate that card.
They do.
Time Warp is banned in Commander. Can I ask that question?
Time Warp is legal in Commander. Why would they ban it? What's wrong with Time Warp?
How much mana is Time Warp again?
5.
Okay. Sacrifice 5 artifacts. And remind me, artifact tokens like exist, right? Like this is not a hard thing to do, I don't think.
Artifact tokens definitely exist.
And this is not a one-time thing. This is like I see.
No, say it. Say it.
So this is like an infinite. You just keep going. Like as long as you have the generation for artifacts, you just keep going and going and going.
Yes.
That seems like it would be up there. I think maybe the most important, like I said at the start of this, what makes people the saltiest is when people play cards against them. But maybe what makes them the most salty is when they can't play the game. Which is why Lotham's a hated card. That's why Ticket is a hated card in Hearthstone. This is probably on the higher side of things. Ooh, I mean, it really depends on how fast you could set this up. 2 mana is pretty gross.
This
and you got multiple of these, right?
Yeah.
No, it's one. It's Commander. It's Commander.
I'm going to show you a card. This is what Time Sieve isn't only associated with this card, but it's mostly associated with this card. This card's pretty popular, so it's like this context is important.
Is he baiting me? That's the thing. Simo has this tendency of, well, I think I'm on the right track. He shows me a card. He's like, oh, look at this one.
Okay, if I understand correctly, you were on track to rate this highly. Let's see what this is like the card that is known for being played with Time Sieve.
I'm sorry, what is this thing? Is this a human Sphinx?
This is my commander. I'm playing this card later today, actually. I have the deck right over there.
Okay. Pivot, sell it. Wait, are you putting Time Sieve into your deck?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Pivot,
yeah.
That means, okay, if CGB is playing it, and CGB is notoriously someone who likes blue. Blue is the most hated color in Magic, I think. Has to be higher on the list. Hold on, metagaming list. 3 neutral, 1 white, 1 blue, 1 black. Flying Ward 3. Council's Dilemma. Whenever Tivit enters the battlefield or deals combat damage to a player, starting with you, each player votes for evidence or bribery. For each evidence vote, investigate. For each bribery vote, create a treasure token. And if I remember correctly, treasure and investigating are all artifacts?
Yes.
Or are they not?
They are.
While voting, you may vote an additional time.
So
nice.
The fact that you get 2 votes and there are 3 other players, it's 5 clues or treasures per turn on its own.
I mean, even without this card, I feel like there's the potential for being salty against Time Sieve is like definitely up there. So maybe not the highest in the world. I think it depends on how likely you are to continuously do this. I'm gonna go with probably like 40.
Yeah, that's where we're firing first.
I think 40 is like a good like. Also, I'm like, this is a blind shot because I don't know what other cards are on this list. So I'm gonna base this on how I would feel playing against this in Hearthstone, and we've had a card like this, and people generally hate this card. So I'll go 40.
All right. Time Sieve is only like it has some other applications, but it's mostly associated with Tivit Solo Secrets, who is a popular commander. It is a 6 mana commander, and because it is kind of narrow in scope of only fitting these certain decks, I think that affects the score a little bit. Your guess is 40. The actual result is 82. Time Sieve is the 82nd saltiest card in the top 100, which means that for your first fired shot, you have a difference of 42 spots. So that's going to be your first score on the board, 42. And, all right. Then we got some gauge. We got a little gauge.
The reason why it's more niche is what you're saying, because it's a more niche effect. You can't do this as often in other decks just with this commander.
Yes.
Mainly. It is because this is based on how commonly you would also see it in a commander game.
Yes.
And the more often you would see it, the more people would vote this as the saltiest card. Okay. So I have to think about also how likely you are to play this in your deck.
Yeah. Think about if you are a commander players and you are seeing this card and you have played against Tivit and you know that when they get this card it's game over, you're going to rank it highly. If you're a commander player who's never played against Tivit, it doesn't look that easy to do. You're like 5 artifacts. Who has that? I've never seen this card. Nobody plays this. Yeah, and then you don't rate it very highly. So there is a 3. It's kind of a 2-color card, but it's actually like a 3-color card because of the commander it goes with.
Okay, I'm writing notes down for this.
Mm-hmm. This is a competition. You should take it really seriously.
If this card was more commonly used, would you say that this would be way higher on the list?
Oh yeah. Okay. Extra turns. People hate extra turns.
Extra turns.
Oh no.
Is a code block.
Oh no.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you right up front. Simo also got this card. Your next card. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited.
You're just randomly. Oh yeah, you're randomly doing it. Okay.
Yeah, it comes up randomly.
Okay. All right. Possess Portal. If a player would skip a draw, that player skips that draw instead. If a player would draw a card, that player skips the draw instead. Okay. The end of each turn, each player sacrifices a permanent unless he or she discards a card from his or her hand.
Fun. Fun, right?
Ozzy, okay, so I'm trying to picture what Simo would have said here. He would have been enraged from a Yu-Gi-Oh perspective. Skipping a draw. And that's every card you would draw. This is 8 mana though. I'm thinking about how likely you would be to play this. This is neutral, so you could technically put it in any deck. Yeah. This card, I'm also trying to think of like, okay, it's like with Time Sieve, I can understand why you would play it because obviously having infinite turns is insanely broken. Why would I want to play Possess Portal? Other than just to piss people off.
I don't know. To be honest.
So this is just like you're with your pod and like some guy plays this and everyone fucking sighs because you're like, why is this guy playing this card? That makes me think that this is higher on the list as well. This one, I had a more visceral reaction to this one than I did for Time Sieve. Player would draw a card, that player skips that draw instead. At the end of each turn, each player sacrifices a permanent unless he or she discards a card from his or her. Remind me, land is also a permanent, right?
Yep. And so is this. So eventually, in theory, this would have to be sacrificed.
Why would you ever want to do this?
I don't know. I'll give you the same context I gave Simo. I had never seen this card until we pulled it up in his episode.
You've never seen this card. Okay, if you've never seen this card, you fucking make Magic content for a living. That has to be lower. Unless that is like the ultimate bait.
I'm not lying.
If you've never seen this card, that has to mean this is lower on the list because then the average player wouldn't see it. You'd have to be like a sick motherfucker to play a card like this. All right, I'll go with like 90.
You're going 90?
I'll go 90.
You're going 90?
If you've never seen this card, I'm kind of, I think before you said that, I would have maybe put this like probably 30, somewhere around there. But if you've never seen this card, like if this was a commonly played card, like this would be near the top, I think. But this card's relatively slow, as far as I'm aware. 8 mana is like, you do have to wait quite a bit. By the time you play it, the game's already been established. I mean, you're the first person to sacrifice something as well. So like whatever. Yeah, I'll go like 90. I think 90 is fair.
Okay, the guess is 90. So this card, I honestly hadn't seen it, and I picture somebody casting or even cheating this out. Even if they cheat this out, everybody, and I mean everybody, probably everybody else just stops and says, "Kill him."
Okay,
It's fair. You spent whatever mana you did to either cheat it out or cast it. You didn't impact the board. Kill him. Because it's not till the end of each turn that the player has to sacrifice. that each player has to sacrifice. So they do get they get a crack at you. And I can't imagine this card doesn't get a player who plays it killed. And for that reason, I think nobody plays it. I don't know how it made the list at all, but if nobody ever played it.
Oh, okay, good.
It must be that they just read it. And this card rank is 95.
Let's go.
Oh
Huge.
my goodness. Well, like we said in the last one, anything within 10 spots is probably like you should consider a hit. That's like Battleship. That's a hit.
Okay. If
so
a card
well done.
would get you killed immediately, it's lower on the list.
Yeah, if it doesn't do anything good enough, like to the board, you know what I mean? It doesn't protect you. Like this card doesn't protect you. It's just like it's begging you to die in a way.
Fair enough.
And if you don't believe me out there, just try it sometime. Try it in your play group. I'm sure it'll go over. Oh my goodness. I can't believe that's come up twice. Oh my God, this one was... Random is a funny thing. Do you know that? Isn't RNG funny? It's really funny. Because
am I getting the same cards as Simo?
Yeah, you got another one that's the same as Simo.
I don't know if I don't know how often you listen to music, but I feel like every time I shuffle my music, I listen to the same 50 songs on repeat, even though I have like 1,000 in my music library.
Yes.
Even more. So it's like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yes. Actual random shuffling is a joke.
What is this? Cool looking card. Hokari is common. Hokari. Okay. Dust Drinker. Hold on. I got to examine the art here. This is sick as fuck. He's a spirit. Okay. 2 neutral, 2 white. Legendary creature. Lands don't untap during their controller's untap steps. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player untaps a land he or she controls. So you only untap 1 land per upkeep. Not being able to play cards, like I said, is very unfortunate.
They don't like it.
That's very high on the list. This is cheap. Oh, the fucking art is so cool now that I've read the sorry, I'm very mesmerized by this. It's very nice.
Is your monitor up in the sky? You look like
I've changed 3 setups, so now I have a monitor here, and one up there.
It looks like you're talking to God. Like
no, I used to have 3 monitors.
Watching a movie.
So I used to have 3 monitors, and it would be like one here, one here, one here. Then I always noticed I would never use one of them because I'd always be situated like leaning towards one way. So I was like, hey, rather than doing that, I'm just gonna put it above me. And it actually has been very helpful. I'm not going to lie. Would highly recommend. Because if I lean back, I can look at all 3 now. It's very nice.
It does also just give us this view of like totally happy. Like this is you looking at the card.
All right, whatever. I'll keep doing it. I don't care. I am happy. I love magic. Smile. Okay. Not having mana is unfun for the average player. This was definitely a mechanic I think a lot of people would be frustrated with. This would definitely be caused to be killed immediately. I think that the contingency is like how often are you playing this. The fact that this is white only means you can put this in a decent amount of decks, I'm assuming.
Any deck that has white, but it can only be your commander in a mono white deck.
Yeah, I don't think you're playing this as a commander though, would you?
Who would do such a thing?
If you are, that's evil.
Just let them know it's coming right at the start. This is my commander. You'll have no mana. Be nice to me. Tee.
I don't think the stat lines are very relevant either because you're not really playing this as like a creature because you probably wouldn't block with this. Like this is probably just sitting there. Man, I would be annoyed. I'm trying to think of this like in Hearthstone terms. If every single turn I only got 1 mana crystal back, I think I would not play Hearthstone if that was like meta.
You'd scoop and go to a new game.
Yeah, because like again, like you're not playing the game. God, I wish you can give me an idea of like how often this card is played. You've seen this card played? Can I ask you that?
Yes.
Okay, if you've seen this card get played.
Oh, some context, like you can ask questions about like also like the rarity or commonality of the card because that does impact the rank as well. So if you want to like cards that are on the list that have rarely or never been reprinted are less likely to be seen. You know what I mean? So if you want to ask questions about that kind of stuff or even the price, if you want to ask me like what the price of the card is, you can do that too.
That's a great question. That also solves the first question you would have answered anyways.
It
can be more expensive. It is.
Yeah. You can draw your conclusions. I like to see what people say. So you can get a copy of this for $1.50. It's from Betrayers of Kamigawa. It's a rare. It's not on the list, and it's not on the reserve list, so it can be reprinted, and it's been put in some secret lair drops, but it hasn't been in another set since Betrayers of Kamigawa in like 2005.
Okay, so based on that analysis right there, this card's old, and people probably don't really go to this unless they're really trying to be evil. So this makes me think that it's lower on the list as well. It's not this one. 2005, no reprints. You have seen it, which makes me, which is not helpful. It helps with the other card because I think if you don't see it, it's way at the bottom. I think I'd go with like 70. No, hold on. What I say? You haven't seen the card. If you haven't seen the other card, it was 95. Let's go 80.
You're going 80 on Hikori Dust Drinker.
I think 86. I feel like the top 30, just based on the cards you show me, are cards that would go into like virtually every single deck. Like if you could slot it in, you would put it in no matter what. Doesn't speak like a card you're putting into every single deck. This is like a very niche thing. And the more niche, which means it has to be towards the bottom. It's very cheap. Yeah, I feel like it's like 80. I would maybe even lower, to be honest. I'll go 80.
Okay, locking in 80. So what I would say, and this is something that also I gave to Simo and that took some time to realize. In a lot of cases, it's not about how often you see it. It's about like the impact of reading the card, and if somebody did this, how pissed off you would be.
Yep.
Because I think a lot of people who rate these cards actually don't play against them. They're people who are online a lot, doing a lot with Commander. But maybe if they have played it, like they probably gauge it in a certain way. It's how Magic players feel. You're getting in touch with feelings.
This is like you watched a trailer for a movie and you're reviewing it. What do you mean? Like, not okay.
Yes, it's how people behave on the internet, Raren. They read the bare minimum headline and then react to it with a big long essay. You know how this works. It's just a reaction. Like basically the salt score is a reaction. In fact, the exact way it works is they look at a card and they rate it 1 to 4. 4 is most salty, 1 is least salty, and then the average, whatever is the highest average. Okay. So it's a reaction. And Hikori Dust Drinker got a lot of reaction because it's number 22.
Really?
Yes. It is number 22 on the list.
It's interesting how that literally contradicted the last card.
Isn't it? It's very strange.
So like there is, again, this is just the Commander ban thing all over again. You're just throwing darts at a board and hoping for the best.
I honestly think the 8 mana, just how terrible the last card is as a card, like how expensive it is in a way an impact.
Okay.
I think it is because like it does nothing to the board. This can come down like before Jeweled Lotus was banned. It could come down on turn 1. It could come down on turn 2 with a Soul Ring, which is in every deck, you know? So I think I think this is just a much better card, and I think that people know that instinctively based on those criteria. But I do encourage you to try to put yourself in the mind of a Timmy who's seeing this card on the stack, not like in the hand, but on the stack. What do? Well, with the portal, you just kill them. Just kill them before we sacrifice our good stuff. With this, I don't know. What am I going to do? How do I get rid of it? I'm going to untap none of my lands? Only one of my lands? That's horrible. What kind of a monster did this?
Yeah, that's just, I don't know. That's so interesting, though, because you would think that, like, you would hate a card because you've had an experience with it, not just from looking at it.
Oh, but
that's so weird.
Do you think that people on the internet have to have the experience to be upset about it?
Not necessarily, but you need to. I feel like, especially if you're going to do a list of like what the top 100 salty cards are, right? I feel like the average person would have to at least play against it to understand how bad it truly is.
I think I think that matters for Time Sieve. I think Time Sieve is a great example of that, right? And that one's hot. That one's further up the number scale, so lower on the list because people, I don't think enough have played against it. With this, you don't need to play against it to understand. You untap one land.
I guess that's fair. I guess that's fair. You can understand how like unfun it would be. Sure.
Oh yeah, immediately. Like that. That's bad. That's not good.
I'm just gonna go with my gut. I'm gonna stop and analyzing this shit because like this is so. This is making goddamn sense.
Come on, what kind of show is it if you're not just squirming around trying to analyze the thing?
That's fair. That's fair.
Next up, ooh, our first red card.
Okay, Apocalypse. 2 neutral, 3 red. Sorcery, remove all permanents from the game, discard your hand. Okay, so it's resetting the game, but you have no hand. And your opponent gets to keep their hand. Your opponents get to keep their hand. Okay, I didn't have a visceral reaction to this. I guess it's unfortunate. Well, all permanents is lands. I guess that's a little frustrating. It's not the same as the Dust guy, though. I wouldn't be like as salty because it happens like I'm assuming a lot later. I guess you'd be a little annoyed with time, but like in terms of game mechanics, I guess depending on what you have, all permanents is rough. Though you're also spending all your mana for that. I mean, not all your mana, but you would play stuff and then you would play this, and this is how you'd end your turn. You would want to have an empty hand going into this,
and then everything's gone. Yeah, whoever does this isn't doing it for a tactical reason. They're doing it for a reaction.
I actually don't think this is that bad, me personally.
Really?
I think like if this happened to me in a game, I would be like, God damn, like I guess we're starting from ground zero again. Whatever.
That doesn't bother you at all. More time with your friends.
I think well, it's that, but it's also like if you're the problem is now I'm going to start comparing this to the cards you showed me. And if Dust Drinker is 20 something, whatever you said, this is like not even close to the same realm as how annoying that card would be. I'd rather, okay, here's my like analogy for this. You know, when you're in traffic and like you're bumper to bumper and you have to keep stopping and like going and stopping and going and stopping and going. That's what Dust Drinker reminds me of. This card's like you're on the back street. It's going to take you an extra 20 minutes, but at least you're going like at a normal speed the whole time. Like, yeah, I don't want to spend 20 more minutes, but it's not as bad as being in bumper and buffer traffic. That's how I feel about this card. I'll go with like 70. This isn't that bad for me.
70?
You said that like I fucked up. So what do you got? I don't think like, this is extremely funny to me because my Hearthstone brain does not think this is that bad.
Wow. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Like, this is almost unplayable in Hearthstone. I want you to be honest. Like, depending what the mana cost would be.
Dude, I agree this is unplayable in Magic. If I had like 4 or 5 cards in hand and my opponent played this, I'd just be like, okay, well, you lose. But Commander is about the social experience. And if there's something
am I going too low?
If there's something they hate, it is losing everything, including lands. The land destruction is mega taboo. Like cards that destroy all the lands are hated. Okay, that's fair. So
just one.
The Apocalypse is the first card we've had on the show that breaks the top 10 at exactly number 10. Number 10 on the salt scale. That's a difference of 60. That is I'm gonna be honest here.
Yeah, this might be the stupidest list I've ever heard in my life. That's not top 10 worthy at all.
No, Apocalypse, not top 10 worthy.
Are you telling me people find Apocalypse more salty than Time Sieve?
Yeah,
Time Sieve literally says you don't get to play the game anymore.
Only if you have the commander as well. You know, you got to have the pieces. This is some Joker wannabe making the whole world burn and making you suffer for their behavior.
Maybe Hearthstone's cooked me, but like again, like this card is so bad. Like I would be like, oh damn, oh shucks, he cleared my board. Like that's how I'm reacting to it. At least Dust gave me like a reaction. This one was like, oh.
It's like, why would you do that? But that's what I think that's part of it. Why would they do that? Just to make you miserable. I think that's why. Like, honestly, like that's a bad card. Why would you do that?
So okay, I don't. Whatever.
No. It's okay, dude. Are you salty? Are you salty right now?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, no, I'm good.
Gotcha.
I'm good. I just can't believe that's 10. That's actually I need to see this list after. I want to go through what the top 100 cards are going to be. I'll be salty at the people who voted like these cards and number 10.
10.
You've shown me way worse cards than this.
10.
Okay, whatever.
Oh no.
Wow.
The world is brutal that way.
Okay, so the logic is, just so I can learn from this.
Uh-huh.
Removing your lands, anything relating to lands is way high up. That's what I'm getting from this. It doesn't matter about removing your permanents. It matters, like your minions per se. It's your lands. Mana is like you shouldn't touch my lands. Okay. All right. If I remove all permanents again, I'm just saying number 1, and then we're gonna go from there.
Just number 1. Okay. We'll see about that. Again, there are various degrees of rarity, and don't be afraid, to take some time and ask if a card is like a rare, or how much it costs, or how many printings it has.
I was so confident that was nothing.
You really were.
That's why I was like, that's why I was still so shocked that this is number 10. I actually still can't believe it. I'm reading the card of like, man, I get this. So this is like an example of, I would have to play against this to actually understand. So like, it contradicts the last card as well for me, because I could read Dust Drinker and be like, okay, I can see why that would be frustrating. But this one,
you would. I think there's something wrong. I think you are.
I haven't played enough Magic apparently.
Yeah, no, you are a mental hop away from the vibe of all my stuff got blown up, all the stuff I came here and was setting up to do such cool things, and I wanted to see the game end and play my stuff, and now it's all gone, and you're fine with it. Like, casuals are not fine with it. It's not fine.
Okay, fair enough.
They are
fair
not
enough.
fine. They would rather play another game. In fact, I've been there. I've been at the table where something like that resolved, and I just look at everybody and say, would you rather just start a new game? And they're like, yes, without them.
That's fair. Yeah. That is fair.
Like, okay. I've been in that game, so I know how that goes.
So maybe my issue is like, I don't like, the only locals I've played in the past 10 years is with you, right?
That's true.
Other than like, I don't have the social like awareness of what happens at these tables with like randos or like with anybody, right?
Yes. So,
which means I feel like this is actually like maybe more difficult for me than Simo is, because Simo does play, like, I feel like he does play locals like you for Yu-Gi-Oh, doesn't he? I misunderstand, or maybe I misunderstood what he was talking about. But like, I don't have that social aspect here at all. Like, I look at this card as a Hearthstone player virtually online and go, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
but I'm guessing the average player just goes like, okay, like, fuck it, like, I hate this game now. This is awful. Let's start.
Okay,
you're making it.
I can help. Picture Voxy's face when you cast this card.
Yeah, honestly, that's not helpful at all.
she would blow the microphone up. Oh God. So yeah, then look at this as a social training experiment. We're trying to get you ready to go play Commander other places if you want to, and you need to not upset the kids so that they invite you back. We want you to have a good social experience in the future. Sure, okay. Sure, we're socializing you. Yeah. It's fine. Oh my gosh. This card. I think I've shown you this card.
Emrakul, I was gonna say, it kind of seems familiar. Emrakul, the Promised End. 13 mana, legendary. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each card type in your. Yeah, I remember this. When you cast this spell, you gain a control of a target opponent during that player's next turn. After that, the player takes an extra. Yeah, like, you use their cards for like a turn, right? Mm-hmm. And I guess you get to pick someone, which is kind of cool. Flying Trample, protection from instants, 13/13. Okay, so again, this card is 13/13 is ginormous. I don't think that's very relevant in a game of Commander. It's more about the second paragraph there. And if you took control of someone's turn, especially later in the game, it would be very frustrating. But how frustrating? Okay, I'm at a table. I have this card. I point at somebody. I say, your turn's mine now. I do the worst possible turn. I make their lives horrible. I do the worst decisions. Is that worse than me getting rid of all their lands? Potentially. But they still have mana to do after, and then they get to take an extra turn so they can kind of recuperate what they had, depending on what their hand is at the time and what I did to their board. If that's the case, this card would be really unfortunate for one player, but on every player, which means this has to be lower than Apocalypse. I'm going with like 40.
Just firing away.
I think the more I think about it, the worse it's going to be. I'm going with 40.
You're using the anti-think about it strategy in this one, just straight from the gut.
I'm going with my gut from here on out. I think that's a good analysis right there.
Okay, your guess is 40. We're locking it in. Emrakul is one of like Simo was like, this is the greatest card you've ever shown me. We did it for a ban list video. He loves this card.
I do think it's cool.
Yeah.
I think I liked it too, right?
Yes.
I like it
yes.
cool.
It is a sweet card. I had it resolved on me and Commander recently. Something interesting about Emrakul the Promise End is in 1v1, it's exactly what you said. You just take the worst turn possible for them and decimate them. In Commander, it's interesting because you can decimate the player whose turn you take. You can also just take a totally good turn with them where they attack somebody else and knock them out of the game. Like, the political power of Emrakul and Commander is you can say, well, you are way ahead. You have the best board. I'm taking your turn, but I won't ruin any of your stuff. I will wipe out that player if on your extra turn you wipe out that player. And then it's my turn and it's you versus me. And most of the time they take the deal because otherwise you're going to take their turn and wreck them, right? And set them back down to earth.
What are you saying? This is like 80?
No. It's actually, it's not 80. It's not 80. But I love talking about the implications of the card in Commander because it has a totally different political style than 1v1 players are used to. I'm just giving context for how this card, what did you guess it was again?
40.
Yeah, this is 36. Let's go. Oh, so that's 2 bang
We're
on.
so back. We're so back.
Yeah, that was really well done. Yeah, only 4 spots off. I think that's currently the closest somebody's come to hitting it dead on the show.
Let's go.
Yeah, nice job.
I'd like to hear it.
Yeah, you're right back in it. You were off by 60. You went from 60 points off to 4. So you clearly get this. You're totally socialized.
Okay. I just needed to fail to, it's like that Batman saying, right? I got to pick myself back up, and I'm right back.
The Batman saying?
It's like, what happens when you get knocked down? Or why is it good when you get knocked down? So you pick yourself back up or something? I forget.
Is it why do we fall so we can rise again?
Yeah. That. There you go. You watch those movies.
You clearly watch those movies as well. Oh my God, that was amazing.
So
very
long.
Inspirational.
I'm over it. Oh, you don't know I was talking. That's all that mattered. As long as I wasn't talking into the abyss and you had no idea what I was saying.
Here you go. Just analyze this card. Let me know. Let me know what this card is here.
All right. Rising Waters, 3 neutral, 1 blue. It's an enchantment. Lands down untapped during their controller's untap steps. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player untaps a land he or she controls. Wait, isn't this the same fucking card as last? Hold on.
It's not on a legendary creature.
Okay, so
and it's blue.
Yeah, I was gonna say the main difference here. It's literally the same mana cost. I guess it's like neutral mana more for the blue one. It's not on a creature. It's on an enchantment. I don't know how big of a difference that would truly be. I guess you could have more copies if you really wanted to. I'm not sure why you would want to have more copies because it seems like it's just a pretty static effect regardless of the amount of copies you would have. Yeah, I'm looking at changes. Okay, so it's an enchantment and you can't block with this. And I guess the legendary creature does matter. I guess you could have multiple in case they want to deal with one, but like I'm sure I wouldn't be too worried. Okay, what did we learn from Dustdrinker?
And this is Commander. You can only have 1 in your deck.
Right. Oh, sorry. I keep forgetting it. You're right. Okay. Dustdrinker people didn't like. It's very easy to put that in play. This is okay. So let's imagine have this in the early game. It would just be just as frustrating. I'm gonna probably guess this is relatively close to Dustdrinker though. Me personally, I couldn't tell the difference between a legendary creature and an enchantment to see like how much that would matter. If any, this might be higher because it's blue. And I feel like there's just like a tendency to hate blue more than white. I don't know, like 15, 18. It has to be. What was Dustdrinker 22?
Dustdrinker was 22.
Hold on, I gotta like really think about, do I think this card's worse than the other one? Can I ask you which one is easier to play?
Which one is easier to play?
Like, does it being an enchantment mean anything in terms of legendary creature for how likely this is to be pulled out?
So yeah, I mean, Hikori can be your commander, obviously, as a legendary creature, but like you said, I don't think it's very common as a commander. As far as searching your library to like find it or tutor it onto the battlefield, in blue there aren't many tutors for enchantments, not a lot. And in white, there aren't that many tutors for creatures, honestly. There's a few for legendary creatures, which could get Hikori. In general, there are more tutors for creatures than enchantments, if that helps.
Okay, so I'm going to say that virtually these are the same card. But because you're telling me that it's less likely that I will be able to get this from my deck in a 100-card deck, Rising Waters has to be lower than the Dust Drinker. It would be the same reaction, but if anything, if people know that it's less likely to get an enchantment than it is a creature, it would be lower. So I'll go with like 30.
You're going with 30 on Rising Waters.
I'll go 30.
Interesting.
If you tell me this thing is like 95, like this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
This is the same
Are you
card.
gonna quit? Are you gonna leave?
No, I'm not gonna quit.
Salty?
But this, I just, there's no, this is literally the commander thing again. It's just throwing darts at a board over the best.
Yeah, obviously there's no skill involved, right? Do you agree with that? There is absolutely no skill in this game.
I'm trying if there is. Like, I don't know.
There's
my
there's
logic
no
is
talent.
I feel like my logic is very sound there.
Okay.
It's the same card, but you're less likely to see it's less consistent in a game of Commander with 100 cards in your deck.
Right.
So therefore you wouldn't see it as often, and therefore would be less on the salty meter. But somewhat close because it still does the same thing.
Sure.
So give or take 10, I'm going with 30. Like, I feel like that's very sound logic.
Yeah.
Can't wait for you to tell me it's at like 92.
And when I tell you it's 90 something, you're going to be like, this game is bullshit, right? And that there's no skill involved. But what if I told you the number was 29? Oh, talent! We
That's
have a
one away?
natural born killer. That's one away. That's a new record
Holy
for the show. He's on fire.
Let's go. Okay. Good.
He's on fire. Number 29. Unbelievable. Dude.
Nice.
See, you're gifted. You're
Thank you.
gifted at this.
Thank you.
It's a good thing we got a real pro. All right. This next card describes how I feel about your majesty and amazingness right now.
Oh. Overwhelming splendor. Wait, is this from Lord of the Rings?
No.
Oh, it looks like the Eye of Sauron.
It really does, doesn't it? But no, those are Nicole Bolas's horns created as a monument on Amonkhet, and that is Nicole Bolas coming through the portal of the Bolas horns. If you look really closely.
Oh yeah, I could kind of see the dragon outline there.
You could also just not overthink it. It's fine.
All right. 6 mana, 2 white, enchantment or a curse. Champ player. Creatures enchanted player controls lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 1/1. Enchanted player cannot activate abilities that aren't mana abilities or loyalty abilities. So that means that planeswalkers are not included in this. And mana abilities. Is that like spend this mana, this creature does this or something?
They can't activate abilities. So this includes other card types, not just creatures, because creatures don't have any abilities. So this basically means you can tap your lands for mana, but you can't tap them to use extra abilities they may have.
Okay.
Also, if you have an artifact that taps for mana, it can still tap for mana, but you can't tap an artifact to use a different ability.
So this just says like you just got a bunch of idiots?
Yes.
And they're just 1/1s?
Perfectly said.
And you're targeting one person?
Yes.
What the hell?
And it's a permanent, so it's ongoing forever and ever.
No, that's kind of fucked up, no?
It's pretty mean.
Okay, it's 8 mana, which is relevant. The tied for the most expensive card I think you showed me so far. Yeah. Okay, let me go back to Possess Portal real fast. Have you played against this?
Overwhelming Splendor. Have I played against it? I'm very aware of this card. Yes, I've played against it. Yes.
And how much is it?
How much money? You can get a copy for $7.
When was the last time it was reprinted?
It was reprinted in, In physical, it was reprinted only once in Hour of Devastation, which is from 2017.
Okay, so that's somewhat recent.
And it is a mythic rare.
It's a very annoying thing. I'm trying to think of like in 1v1, this probably wins the game if you play it. In Commander, then there's like the political aspect of it. Like I'm just trying to make sure I understand this. This card literally says the person that gets this is just like a bot until this thing is removed.
Yeah, they're full NPC mode. They're Zerg swarming and nothing more.
That is miserable. But it's not lands.
It doesn't. That means it turns off the abilities of your lands other than making mana. So it doesn't shut down your ability to cast your stuff.
I meant, wait, so that does that mean when I like if I have a card that says like when it enters the battlefield, it doesn't go off?
That's right.
And like all keywords are gone? Like Death Touch is gone.
That's gone.
Okay, would I rather be an NPC or would I rather have all my lands disengaged at the start of the game? At least with this, you can defend yourself up until the point that this is played. And then there's the political aspect, which I guess is kind of fun. It just sucks for the one person. So I am understanding that Rising Waters, the Dust Drinker, and Apocalypse is if it affects everyone, it's going to be higher up on the list. That seems to be a common thing here. Emrakul affects one person and it was like near 50, which makes me believe that this is somewhat close to it. Can you give me an example of like how cheap Emrakul would be played at?
In a deck well designed to play it, 7 or 8 mana.
Okay, so this is relatively around the same. Rather than taking up someone's turn, sorry, what are you gonna say?
Oh, I'm just throwing out Emrakul is also a 13/13 flying protection from Instance Trampler.
Okay, so you're saying that as in people get salty from that, is what I'm assuming.
You know, it's on a body that attacks and blocks and flies.
Okay, so does that mean? Okay, I just gotta verify as well. I am an NPC, but if I have a spell that says destroy enchantment, does that go off if I have over? So I can deal with this if I'm an NPC.
Yep.
Okay. How much mana is the average to like enchantment destruction?
2? 3?
Okay, so
maybe.
This is
if it like a 3 mana enchantment destroyer that's popular comes with a body. Oh, actually, it wouldn't work on this.
Yeah, I was going to say, if it's on a body, it doesn't work.
So an enchantment destroying spell, 2 or 3. Think 2 or 3.
Okay, and I have to ask you this question because this is also going to be relevant to this. Does the political aspect of this card, would you say on average, not specifically for this card, but would you say that makes the table more fun? Because I'm imagining a world where you play this on somebody and then you would be like, if you interact with this person, I'm going to go for you.
I'm not sure. I have not played against this in Commander.
Oh, I thought you said you played against it.
I have.
Standard.
I have played against it in other formats that are not Commander.
Fuck? That's so scammaz. That's crazy. Okay, so that makes me believe this card's near the bottom. This is if I can, as the person who is the NPC, have a card that can deal with this, I can still use my mana. 73. It might be lower than that, but I'll go with like 73.
Okay. A little meta check. So you went from the gut and you got within 1. And now on this one, you ask me like all the different questions.
Yeah.
You don't go from the gut. And you go for 73. How do you feel about this now?
It's pretty good. Honestly, I need a clarification for a lot of this. If I didn't ask the question of like, if I'm the NPC, can I interact with this with a spell? I would have put this way up higher on the list. But because you could still interact with it, I think it's fine. And they're playing 8 mana for this. Like that's fucking expensive. So it's like they're almost their whole turn in some cases. So I think it's fine.
It's not your best guess, man. I'm going to be honest. It's not your best guess. But then again, your best guess was within 1 point. So this one's 96. So you are 23 points away.
I thought you were gonna say like it's like 20. Okay, I'm fine with that. What did I say? 70, 72,
You
75?
said 73. You said 73.
73. Okay,
So,
I'm fine with that. That's fine with that. That's fine.
23 points off. Definitely not the worst either. So bravo.
Okay,
All right,
okay.
dude, you're like going really fast. We're like 7 in.
Wait,
You've got 3 to go.
Was Simo like taking his sweet time or something?
You make videos with the man. What do you think?
Yeah, he does think a lot. It's fair. That's fair. That is fair.
Hopefully the editors have shielded our precious listeners from all of the thinking time. It is impressive.
Well, if you put it as a competition, I feel like it's completely justifiable that he would take as long as possible.
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely. And plus, it gives me more watch time. So this is me telling you, slow the fuck down, cowboy. Come on, man. Sorry. Do you want me to like just speed run your video? No, you don't.
Look, I feel like I'm taking my time here.
Here you go. Oh, this is a classic too.
How many more cards I have? 3?
I think I did show you this card once. Yeah.
Can you tell me if I'm doing like good comparatively to Simo? Like,
you're doing something. I'll tell you at the end.
Okay, yeah, I feel like you showed me this card too. Yeah. Blood Moon, 2 neutral, 1 red. Enchantment. All non-basic lands are now basic mountains. Okay. This card was. I'm trying to remember why this card was good because I remember you saying it was good. This is an older card though. I can't. Can you just confirm it was playable? I remember you saying it was playable.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, it is playable. It was playable back in the day in the early formats. It's playable in modern today. People build decks with this. And it is playable, of course, in Commander.
Non-basic lands are now basic mountains. This one's interesting.
It's on MTG Arena. It was printed recently in Wilds of Eldraine Enchanted Tales. So it's on Arena, so you can play it in Brawl. Oh, this card.
I'm trying to think of why I would be salty with this card and just in general. Am I allowed to ask you why it was playable back in the day? Can you remind me?
Many decks in the competitive 1v1 formats avoided running basic lands. So if they were playing a blue-white deck that had no basic lands and you played Blood Moon, their lands did nothing because their lands became basic mountains. They only tap for red
they can
mana.
tap for red. Okay, yeah. Sorry. The way that I was thinking of it from like a Hearthstone perspective was like they would just be mountains. So like anything that interacts with a mountain. The mountain type, not like what the lands would be or not the mana would be.
Yes, they transform into exactly the card Mountain, which is a land that taps for red and only does that.
Okay, this is 3 mana. I think this is the cheapest card you've shown me. Okay, we're touching lands. We're already in the top 25. This is the cheapest card you've shown me, which means I think it bumps up at least 10. And it's in red. Which I mean, this card's played like you're cheesed. Like if you don't have the mana to interact with this immediately, the game's over.
Assuming all your lands are non-basic. Remember, you can also just have basic lands. So the most common, popular, cheapest cards in the game are basic lands.
All non-basic lands are now basic. I am trying to think about the deck you gave me for Commander.
Yes.
Did you have any basic lands in it?
Actually, it did. I'm pretty sure I can just pull this up.
Oh, was I allowed to do that? I didn't want to cheat.
No, you can't do it. I can.
Oh,
I'm the host. Okay. No, you can pull it up. I don't give a shit.
I didn't want to cheat. I don't want to cheat.
You can pull it up. Wait, what was the name of your damn commander?
Good question.
Tariel? Tariel?
Yeah, that sounds right. I'm not gonna scroll up. Can you just let me know if it has basic lands in it?
Got lazy. Oh my gosh. Tariel.
If I'm thinking like pre-con decks would have basic lands in it.
Pre-con decks usually come with about, I would say, 12 to 15 basic lands. This one had 7 basic lands in it. It also had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards that searched for a basic land.
Okay. If you have red mana for your non-basic lands. Non-basic lands are like the dual class lands, lands that would have an extra effect that other than giving you mana.
Yep, you had Sunhome, Fortress of the Legion, which gives target creature double strike as an example in your deck.
And that doesn't affect the ability, it just affects the mana that it generates.
It affects the ability. It takes the ability away. The land becomes a mountain.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, yeah, all basic lands. How does I I don't. This one's interesting. I guess inherently it's not as bad as Dusk or Dusta or the blue one. I forget what it's called. The Waters card.
Rising
like,
Waters.
You still get to play with mana. Theoretically, if you have basic lands, this is irrelevant. I'm assuming a lot of decks do contain non-basic lands though, so this would affect you slightly, but it's not as bad as the Dusk card. It's 3 mana. It is cheaper. That is something, and I feel like if you could shut off an archetype with this, like obviously you'd be frustrated, but I don't think it's that bad. But it's breaking my rule because you are affecting lands. Yeah, I don't think it's as bad as Dust Drinker. Unrelated. You ever seen a Blood Moon in real life?
Have I? Oh, you mean an actual Blood Moon? I was like, I own one of these. I just got a miscut one from the dark. I was really proud of it. No, like a literal Blood Moon. Yes, I've seen an existing real life Blood Moon.
Okay.
Have you?
Okay. No, I don't go.
You don't go outside.
I mean, we know when we had the eclipse. I didn't look outside. I didn't really care.
Okay. Okay.
In hindsight, I kind of regret it because I feel like I may never see that again in my lifetime. But I mean, do you like? I don't know.
This astronomy moment brought to you by Indoor Recluse Rarin.
When was that? Was the Bazaar out yet? I might have been playing. The Bazaar.
It wasn't. The Bazaar was out yet. It was like this summer, dude. I'm 90% sure we made a video and then I went to town and looked at the eclipse.
God, I couldn't even remember. Whatever. You watched Squid Game? Did you watch that yet?
Yeah, I've been watching Squid Game too. I haven't finished season 2 yet. I'm like 3 episodes in. Like, yeah. Good. I mean, it's a show. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I liked season 1 a lot. Yeah.
I went through season 1 with my girlfriend, or season 2 with my girlfriend, like 2 days.
Okay.
And then we started rewatching season 1 because I was like, damn, I like this show a lot. Now I'm almost done season 1 like a day, and that's all I did yesterday.
Very nice. So for season 2, it has what I call the Hunger Games problem, where we have to get the character back into the game, right? Because nobody cares what happens outside the game. So we have to get them back inside the freaking arena, or it's not interesting.
I will tell you right now, by the time you get to the end of the season 2, you're going to be like, holy fuck, this was sick.
Because it does need to me, it has to like kind of justify its existence. Because so far we've gotten the character back in the game, and the games are very similar to last time. So I'm like, I need more.
Oh, but you've only seen red light, green light.
I have also seen the second game, the team game that they played.
I like that one.
It was pretty good. It was good. Crazy. It was good.
We tried to do the I forget what it's called, where you picking up the beads.
I don't know how the hell somebody does that. I don't know how. That is madness. I think
every team would have died on that one. That one's. Anyways, sorry, Blood Moon. Watch time. If you like Squid Game, like this video.
I appreciate you. Thank you. That's my boy. He's back.
Blood Moon. Okay, I'm gonna go off on a limb here and say this is like 50 something. I think this isn't. You are affecting lands, but I don't think it's like stopping mana. It's more just limiting like some of your mana cards. So I'm gonna cut the other ones in half. If Rising Waters, is that what it's called? I know you just said it. Yeah, Rising Waters is 30, and that actually limits the amount of mana you get. This has to be lower than that. I'll go with like 53.
53, right from the gut. 53. Okay.
Come on, I'm a gamer.
53. So Blood Moon is. Simo had a similar card, and The interesting part about Blood Moon is at first you're like, they're touching lands. People hate this, right? And then the part that you have to kind of get to is the non-basic lands. Because I think that similar to Simo's card, which also affected non-basic lands, these cards used to be like really high in the ranking. Like, I think if you go back a few years, they're a lot higher. Okay. And over time, what people have kind of accepted is that these cards punish only those people who aren't willing to use basic lands, non-basic lands. The thing you need to know about non-basic lands for salt purposes and commander deck building purposes, they're expensive. It is not uncommon for the mana base of a deck to be worth the majority of the value of the deck. For example, your commander deck's mana base, to go out and buy it would have been $227. Yeah. And after that, there's like one card in the deck, Wheel of Fortune, that is on its own like 300. But if you take that out, your mana base is more than the rest of your deck. Okay. So that is not weird. That is, non-basic lands are usually rare for the good ones. And when somebody has a decked out mana base with all the expensive ones, including the ones that go for $400, $500, $600, some non-basic lands do, then it does kind of feel like pay to win, right? Because they have a more efficient, more useful mana base than you.
Can I be honest with you? I'm feeling really good about my guess currently, based on what you're saying.
Keep it up.
I'm feeling really good about
this. Keep rolling. Yeah, so cards like Blood Moon have gone from being like the villains to kind of being the heroes. The heroes for the little guy who runs basic lands, right? Because you put these in your deck and you hose that person who spent all that money, right?
And then they're upset.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay. So now it's the whales that are upset, but the little guys, you know, the budget commander players are like, 2 thumbs up, screw you and your non-basic lands. Blood Moon, how you like them apples. And that is why it's not a top 10 card, why it's not a top 20 card. It's a top 30 card. It's number 39. Number 39.
I'll take it.
Yep.
I'll take it.
You were
That's not bad.
14 points off. Not bad. Not bad. Dude, see?
Stressful.
See? You're getting it. You're getting it. You got this. Easy. Okay. Easy. And
if I beat Simo, that's all that matters, I think.
All that matters.
Had so much more time. I've had so much more time than he is, like, reviewing Magic cards. I should win this.
I'm glad I've sparked your competitive fire.
Just that laugh though, it does not make me feel confident. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like I'm fine.
Dude. This is fun because I can't wait to share it with people who also play Magic and see how Magic players do. That's gonna be fun as well. Fair. Like, I can't wait to see if Vox. Yeah, that's my plan. She owes me one. Did you know that Voxy played a tournament this last weekend? A standard tournament?
I actually watched you coach her for a little bit.
Oh.
And then I stopped watching because she was playing mono red, and I said I'm not going to subject myself to this.
I'm gonna let her know you said that. I warned her.
I messaged her. I said good luck at the tournament, and then I said you're playing mono red, and then I gave her this emote. Hold on.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yep. That. Yep. I'll put that in the folder to put on screen. Done.
That's what I responded with.
Well done. Here, read this card. I'm gonna copy that emote. That was honestly my reaction too. Oh my god, I was very disappointed.
Winter Orb, 2 mana. A player may not untap more than 1 land during the untap phase of. Okay. 2 mana for this, and it's an artifact.
Look, this is random. I don't know how you got all the same card.
Top 10? Top 10. What would be worse than this? What would be worse than that? I'm really curious to see what 1 is. But this is, I mean, okay. If Dust Drinker is 22, this is worse than that card on average. Yeah, I don't think that this is like, okay. I objectively think this is just a more frustrating card than Dust Drinker. What's the fuck his name? I keep calling him Drinker.
Okay.
It's a Hearthstone card.
I sent you also the revised version of this card, and back then they had funny rules text where right now, as you read that, it just says it just says it the way if it were printed today, if they were updated, because of the way that mono artifacts worked, it would read differently. It would read, here, I'll send you this one.
Okay, so I'm not basing it off this version. I'm basing it off the updated text.
I don't know if you remember, mono artifacts back in the day were active when untapped, and when tapped, when inactive. So like an updated version of Winter Orb might read like this.
As long as Winter Orb is untapped, players can't untap more than one land during their Okay, so that's just so you have like you can play with it a little bit more. It's just not on the board.
Yeah,
like if you tap it, then it's not as bad.
If you have a way to tap it, it doesn't affect you, but it affects everybody else. Depending on your timing, you kind of take control of it. You know what I mean?
As long as Winter Orb is untapped, players can't untap more than one land.
The way that the timing rules work is if you say on the player before your turn, if you on their end step tap Winter Orb to do something, then on your turn you untap all your lands and Winter Orb.
Oh, because you tapped it and then you untap everything at the start of your upkeep. I get what you're saying. I mean, that's kind of cute. It's still annoying. It's very annoying. Because I don't want to spend my mana to tap it. I don't want this in the game. No, this is top 15. Like, yeah, you could play with it. You could also deal with the Dust Drinker, but like I'm rattled just looking at the card too. So like, realistically the conversation. This by the way, this polar bear looks very deranged. I don't know if I'm looking at the card too much, and it's giving me nightmares.
Dude, this is one. I have a great story about this card. I've always wanted to show this card. I got my first copy of this card by trading with somebody from a fellow scout troop when I was on a camping trip, staying outdoors in igloos we had made by hand in sub 40 degrees, one of the coldest nights in northern Michigan history. And I traded for Winter Orb as a keepsake.
I mean, that's a nice, I want to say nice memory. I'm not sure if it is.
It wasn't a great night. I did not have a great night. Headaches, freezing cold the whole time. Oh, it was hell. The propane was frozen in the morning. We couldn't make breakfast.
Oh my God. And that is why I don't go outside. I just like how the art for this card is like, hey guys, this is those Winter Orb. Holy shit, you see the polar bear?
Right, yes.
That's how I imagine they're
very
doing
Canada,
this.
Very Canadian art.
Like the newer one is like, oh, that actually looks like a Winter Orb, and it's nice. It's like a nice scenic background. This one is
you threw a nicely packed snowball at a polar bear that's coming to kill you. Yes.
Oh, is that what that is?
No, it's definitely not. Don't. Oh, and it's also not how to survive a polar bear attack.
So what is what's the? By the way, I'm pretty convinced this is top 10, but is this what's the skeletons like? Other polar bears? Like, is that one being eaten?
I just want to say I appreciate what a pro you are when I point out watch time and you immediately shift into just bullshit territory. And
Man,
what a guy!
Magic cards, they do go crazy. Yeah, I'll go 10. I'll go 10. 10? I think this is objectively a more frustrating card than Dust. And if Dust is 22, then this has to be a little higher up. But this is even cheaper to cast. You're saying you can interact with it, but no one wants to interact with this. This is just annoying.
Yeah, I mostly shared that to let you know that if you're the player with Winter Orb, you can turn it off for yourself.
Oh, that's even... Maybe... No, I'll go 10. Okay. Yeah, we'll go 10.
Winter Orb... what a beautiful card. I told my little story about it that I wanted to tell. What a hated card. And yeah, it can go in every deck. It's not banned for some reason. Like anybody who wants to play a Winter Orb can. Most people don't. But there are commanders specifically that tap artifacts for certain effects. So you can play this in those decks. And why wouldn't you? Because it's a one-sided stacks piece. And the reason why you wouldn't is because you want to have friends someday. Because this is a hated card. You sniffed it out very well. This card was number 1 in the past. It is no longer number 1. It has fallen tragically to the rank of number 2. So yeah, you are within 8 on this one. And I was wondering if you'd take a shot and go higher.
I think if you said to me before I made my guess, I didn't realize that you could tap this yourself. and like untap all your mana. I didn't actually make that conclusion. I was thinking about the other players. I think I would have made this 5 if I knew that. But that's interesting. So this is the second most hated card in the game.
This is the second most hated card in the game. This is one of the bars, you might say. There's one card more hated than this.
What is? I wonder what the card. Okay,
maybe you'll get it, so you'll just have to wonder. Right. Now you have to ask every card, do they hate it more than Winter Orb? And if you can find the answer yes, you should pick one. That's what I'm seeing.
Is that like the golden snitch in Harry Potter? Can I win the competition if I hit one? Oh, okay.
No, you can still be wrong about everything else and just utterly fail.
Yeah, but I got the golden snitch.
Should I add a hot number to this, like a daily double? Like you hit a certain number that's predetermined.
I think if you hit number 1 though, like it would go crazy.
If you hit number 1, as in called number 1 and was right, that would be very cool. I will admit.
Yeah. Therefore, I win, right?
No, you don't win yet. Okay. No. You have to keep playing this game for one more guess, because that was your number 9 and this is number 10. And this one might, not telling you the score, but this one might matter. It might matter. Might matter a lot. Yeah, might matter a lot.
Oh, wow.
All right. Just putting it out there. Might matter. Read. Oh God. Enjoy.
Oh. What did Yu-Gi-Oh come? 8 mana? Okay. Warp World. 5 neutral, 3 red. This is sorcery. Each player shuffles all permanents he or she owns into his or her library and then reveals that many cards on the top of his or her library. Each player puts all artifact, creature, and lands card revealed this way onto the battlefield. It does the same for enchantment cards and then puts all cards revealed this way that weren't put onto the battlefield on the bottom of his or her library. Let me read that 3 more times just so I'm fully clarified here. Each shuffles all permanents he or she owns into her library, and then reveals that many cards from the top of his or her library. Okay. I'm just going to go with 10. It's an easy number. So 10, and then you get 10 cards shown. Each player puts all artifact, creature, and land cards revealed this way onto the battlefield. Then does the same for enchantment cards, and then puts all cards revealed this way. Okay, so does that mean you're pulling, like, let's say I have 10 permanents. I pull 10. I do it for artifact, creature, and lands. And then do I pull another 10?
No.
Or is it's so from those 10s, from that 10 is also enchantment.
It's worded that way because many enchantments are auras. They say enchant X. And if it happens simultaneously, you wouldn't be able to place them on something. So it's templated that way in case you have aura enchantments, because then you place them on the cards you already placed.
Okay, if Apocalypse was very high up, surprisingly, but you don't get to refill your board up, this makes me think this is a lot lower than Apocalypse. This is also 8 mana. Apocalypse was 5. I want to say above 50 here.
You think so? How would you react if somebody played this card and started reading to you what you had to do with your game?
Here's the thing. This is like a Hearthstone card. Like, it's kind of wacky.
Yeah.
Like, it's
should
not
this have been in your deck? Should I put this in Tariel?
No, maybe. I can see where the fun would be. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you set up this board, but also it's like, what's gonna happen? Holy shit! Like, you know what I mean? Now, unfortunately, the outcome of what after all this is resolved is going to affect how you feel towards this card, because this is by experience. Like, you could read. I don't think anyone's reading this card and being like, that it's miserable. Like, I could see why you'd be a little annoyed. I don't think you're going to be.
One of my decks might reveal 10 spells and then I get nothing.
Okay. Just don't put spells in your deck then. What do you read?
Look, you want to be an all minion, artifact, and enchantment Andy. Go ahead. I like to play the game cerebrally.
Listen, I'm just going to say this. Objectively speaking, I think Apocalypse, if you're saying Apocalypse is 15, I think people are much more frustrated with Apocalypse. This is also 8 mana, which means if so far these slower ass cards have been higher up on the list.
Apocalypse was 10, by the way, which, by the way, you guessed 10 on number 9 and you knew it was Apocalypse. But that's fine. Go on.
Oh, I thought it was 15. That's my bad. I was assuming it was 15. Oh, that's right. Okay, whatever.
Not taking notes. Not taking notes. Not taking the game seriously.
I'm not taking notes after Apocalypse. I don't care anymore. Whatever. Whatever. Okay, sorry, hold on. Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at like, okay, Winter Orb's number 2, which makes sense. What was Blood Moon again? Sorry, it was like, what did you say, 90 something?
If you don't write it down, I'm not going to help you. No, it's 30. What? It's 39. It's 39.
Okay, 39. Okay. Blood Moon's like decent comparison to this, I think. I think Rising Waters is more annoying than this card. Emrakul is maybe a good example of this. I want to say 50, somewhere around there. I could see cards being more frustrating than this, but I could also understand why someone would be annoyed from this. And yeah, if you like this, again, I think this one's more experience based than anything. Because if you do only pull spells, like you're going to hate this card till the day you die. Like that would suck. But again, like if you're pulling on average, like something fun, like, or something fine, like you'll be upset, but you won't be like, holy fuck, I hate this card with a passion.
Spells are fun.
Yeah, but you don't get them from this, right?
What about Planeswalkers? You don't get Planeswalkers either. That's what I mean. You're like, well, if you pull something fun. No, it's not. It's not fun if you pull spells and Planeswalkers. Nothing happens. It's very sad. You can tell what's happened to me.
Yeah, you seem like you're jaded from this card.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but I think you're like proving my point though, right? Like I feel like you having a personal experience of this and not having like a good outcome is like making you hate this card more, right? But like Yogg's a good example of this from Hearthstone. Like people love that card or you fucking hate that card. There's not a lot of people in the middle of it. Like you either think that card's amazing or you just wish it wasn't in the game. And this kind of makes me think of the exact same thing. Like it's not something that I think is really hated for a lot of people, but also from a different perspective, people probably hate this card from personal experiences. So if I'm going to go from based on variance, which I think is like what this is going to be, it'd be around 50. Around 50. Around 50% of the time, you're probably not going to like the outcome. Around 50% of the time, you're probably going to be okay with the outcome.
All right. You don't know any cards between 50 and 59. So those are all open guesses.
Emrakul was like 49, I think. It was like 40 something. Why would Emrakul be worse than this or better than this?
Emrakul was 36.
Okay, psych. Oh my god. 36? Damn.
You were within 4.
No, I'm really undershot. I really I lose my brain on this.
Yeah, like comments. No, he can't see the scoreboard we're going to put on there in edited post. Yeah, so don't pick on him for not seeing the numbers above his head.
Listen, it's a lot to think about, right? A lot of pressure. People don't get it.
No, they don't.
My whole reputation's on the line here.
It's the hot seat.
And it's going to be based on what you're saying. It's going to be decided by this card if I beat Simu or not. So.
I just said it might be.
Yeah, but why would you say that?
Why would I say that?
Just to add pressure to me? Like, that's kind of rude.
Runtime. Shut up.
You're my friend.
Of course we're friends.
Okay, if I'm warping my world around this, I'm going to go with like 51. I think 51's safe. I think it's like, I think my reasoning is very sound.
Okay, 51, final guess. This card, I don't remember ever resolving this, actually. I just, in my mind, I'm like, that's 100% will happen to me. I hate RNG cards.
Oh, you like haven't played against this?
No, I haven't. It hasn't actually happened to me.
You put a thought in my brain and it didn't even happen. You fucker.
Dude, it's my mental reaction. It's totally honest. But don't worry. This is far from your worst performance. This is number 64. So you are actually within 13. Which is a pretty good number.
Nice.
And yeah, so why don't you go over there? Why don't you just sit there for a moment and reflect on how the salt scores of EDHREC and the average Magic player, like what you find interesting or surprising, or if you're just a God gamer who's in their head and understand the common Magic player better than they understand themselves.
I'm not going to claim I know anyone or know the average Magic player. What I will say is, wow, this game looks so fun. You should buy cards and support CGB's sponsor.
CoolStuffInc.com.
CoolStuffInc.com.
Promo
I
code
actually
CGB5.
proposed to my girlfriend with stuff from CoolStuffInc.com and she said yes. Wow.
Wow, you proposed? Congratulations, dude.
That was a joke.
Oops, my bad. I figured you'd tell your friend. All right, your score, your cumulative score is...
If I beat Simo, I'll propose to my girl. I'll call her right now.
Wow, dude, you better be ready. What are you going to give her? A shiny magic card?
Yes.
a graded wedding ring. That is a magic card, by the way. I'll show it to you someday. All right.
Hold on.
Your final score is 228. 228. And remember, lowest score wins.
Yeah.
Simo, the only other participant so far in what I'm calling season 1 of this game, got a score of 317.
Let's go, Sorry.
No, you celebrate, buddy. You're the reigning champ for now.
I scared my cat.
Libby, I want to zoom on that cat.
He actually looks scared. Hold on, look at him. I can't see.
You got to reassure him. You got to reassure the kid. It's okay. Daddy's a reigning champion.
Holy shit.
Can you believe it? Almost 100 points on him.
Oh, dunked. Oh, feels good.
Feels good. I will say you set a few records. His closest guess was 7 points off. Yours was 1. So that's going to be a tough record to beat. His furthest guess was 54 points off. Yours was 60. And you had a 58. So, hey, you got a few records, but the one that counts, right now, you're the lowest score. Skill game, am I right?
But here's the thing. I feel like after this point, I don't know if you're doing anyone else other than Magic creators at this point.
Oh.
I feel like I'm not holding this title. Like anyone who's played Magic's gonna beat me because they've gone through this. Like Voxy, if Voxy doesn't beat me, she should be embarrassed. That's horrible if she doesn't beat me.
I'm going to use that clip. What I'm excited about.
Sorry, continue.
What I'm excited about for Magic players is there's a lot of Magic players who play Commander, but not with Commander players. You know, they play for shows or they haven't played it at all. Like those are the kind of players I'm really excited. Like a pro player doing this is going to be mind blown. Their knowledge might actually work against them.
That is true. But I don't know. I feel like Voxy, who is someone who has been on Commander, so should have a very easy time doing this.
We shall see.
If she doesn't beat me, embarrassing. Quit Magic. Embarrassing.
Tune in next time for the CovertGoSalt game.